Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about the Scorpio astrologer, and yes, it does apply and pertain to the Sun, Moon, and Ascendant. Anyway, when I'm talking about the Scorpio astrologer, I'm talking about how I see them as astrologer, their style, and how I believe they are in general as astrologers. Now, the Scorpio astrologer I see as being very passionate, very resourceful, and very untiring in their astrological work. Scorpio can work relentlessly and untiringly, practically on virtually everything, and that, of course, would apply and pertain to astrology, matters with astrology. And they would likely do this with a lot of emotional intensity as well. Now, the Scorpio astrologer would often, I see them often looking at the psychological aspect of the chart. Many of you may know that renowned astrologer Liz Green, who has a Scorpio ascendant, has really emphasized a lot of the psychological aspect of charts in her works, and it's no surprising having a Scorpio rising that she does this. And also, Scorpio has a tendency to look deeply into things. They're not generally not superficial. They will go. They could be very insightful, and the charts are often what they do is going to be very provocative, very in depth, and insightful. And the thing about Scorpios too, and the positive thing about them being very secretive, is that they're less likely to divulge or disclose pertinent information, or I should say, any information about your chart or your birth data or what have you, because they are the type of person that's sworn to secrecy. They are very secretive, and it does pay dividends when it comes to retaining information pertaining to your chart. Now, Scorpio too, the thing about them is if you're trying to pull one over on a Scorpio astrologer, it's going to be very difficult to do so. Now, they have also, they could see through subterfuge and facades very readily. Let's say, for example, hypothetically, somebody comes in, they're a new client, and they give Scorpio this bogus birth data. They're just trying to play games with Scorpio. Scorpio would be the ones of all the signs on average to detect something like that, to detect some kind of deception or duplicity. So I don't encourage that anyway, because if you're giving fallacious information pertaining to your birth chart, you're only cheating yourself, and it's about self-deception anyway. But if you're somebody doing that, Scorpio would be the last person to do that. So I'm telling you, and it's also not ethical the way I see it if you're going to lie about information about your birth, and it's just something you don't want to do anyway to anybody. But anyway, that being said, they Scorpio astrologers can often, I could see them often flourishing and thriving in forensic astrology, because it's tied in with mysteries and often death. If they're trying to find locate a body that and seeing if trying to confirm if that person has died, that is something that could be right up Scorpio's alley, because Scorpio is the sign, of course, synonymous with death and mystery as well. And Scorpio, of course, is enamored with getting to the bottom of things, and they often want to get to the bottom of things. If there's something they're trying to resolve astrologically, that's what they often can be good at. Now, remember, Scorpio is about power. Scorpios can have a very powerful impact on whatever subject or whatever field it is they choose. Now, the thing about it is, Scorpio I can see them having a very powerful impact on astrology. Again, as I talked about before, prolific astrologer Liz Green has a Scorpio ascendant, and it's really there's not enough superlatives to describe what Liz Green has done for the astrological community. And many of you may know, she had collaborated with, and I don't know if I'm saying the name right, Elos uh, Trindle. he was apparently he was somebody involved with like a computer programmer or something, and he what they did was they collaborated on some computer generated astrology chart system, which would give a very good analysis and interpretation, but it would have, what it would do is it would amalgamate the astrological energies, and it would give a blending where it would have a reading which would have a personal element to it, in contrast to other computer generated charts which might just give you isolated descriptions of various things in your chart. Like say if somebody had the sun in Cancer, moon in Gemini, those kind of charts might just list, okay, sun in Cancer, then the description, moon in Gemini description. But that's the kind of program that that Liz Green had worked on with this person, was something where it might actually, where it may integrate, where it would integrate those energies perhaps, or at least integrate some of those energies in that chart, and they would synthesize it. So she's obviously had, I mean, a tremendous impact on astrology and numerous works, of course. And the thing about this too is, and again, that kind of program that was worked on would simulate a personal reading. Now, also too, something about Scorpios is that, of course, they have an indomitable will and spirit, and that will often get them through any adverse periods they may encounter during their astrological career, whether it could be criticism, derisive remarks, it could be business struggles, etc., going through trials and tribulations. They, Scorpio is probably, they're more apt to be able to handle that better than most people. Keep in mind that Scorpio is also connected with rebirth and regeneration. They are very resilient. If they suffer a setback in something connected with their astrological career, they will often bounce back and may even come back stronger and better than they were as far as right at the time of that setback. Now, and again, as I've stated before, Scorpio can be enamored with mysteries, and they can be about deducing mysteries and conundrums. If somebody's got, say, I could see Scorpio doing very well in chart rectification. If somebody's got an unknown birth time, or they have an approximate time and they don't know the precise time of birth, Scorpio can likely at least come very close to the, they may not get the exact time of birth, or at least come close to the precise time of birth, because they are very infatuated and enamored with solving mysteries, getting to the bottom of things, and things that are unknown. Now, the thing about Scorpio too is that I see them overall, in summation, I mean, they can make very good astrologers and be very proficient at astrology if it is a career field that they so choose. I mean, Scorpio is the most occult of all the signs, and the occult, of course, can be also, astrology is an example of an occult subject. They are ruled by Pluto, and that, of course, is connected with the occult. Now, I understand Uranus is the planet that people see as more really connected with astrology in the sign Aquarius, but Scorpio can make very good astrologers as well. And anyway, also too, in getting, in what I want to say as well, that even though Scorpio can have a tendency to delve very deep into someone's astrological chart, keep in mind they can be very incisive as well when they want to say something about your chart. And I've noticed that a number of Scorpio people have really made immense contributions to astrology. You talk about Stephen Forrest, who has a Scorpio Ascendant, Alan Oken, Scorpio Rising, Robert Hand, Scorpio Moon. And again, going back to Liz Green, who has, of course, a Scorpio Ascendant. And these people obviously have had a prodigious impact on astrology. And anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, people, Edwin Learnard saying, stay well.